Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. Hope you guys are all seeing this clearly. I'm trying to get some windows open and everything working correctly. Alright. So as you can see, we are going to be streaming Creativerse, and this is already a server that I am currently playing on, so I am just going to be covering some of the basics of the gameplay and also some questions that are frequently asked on the servers, or about the servers, about the game itself, about the dev quality, and some of the other questions that I've seen in the forums. Pardon me. So, like I said, this is Creativerse. It's created by a company called Playful Corp. They're, I believe, out of the Southwest. They are also creators of a game called Lucky Tale, or Lucky's Tale, and that is for the Oculus Rift. So they're already putting their chips in for some of the future tech that's going to be coming out. That, my friends, was a Keepa. Thank you, Black Nova, for all of the Keepas that you have made spawn near my base. I don't know what the spawning rate is supposed to be for them, but before he came and visited me, I was getting nothing. I'm going to go ahead and close the chat box in-game for now. Alright, so I'm a little low on volume for the microphone. I can turn that up. Is that better? Wow, the lag for the lag for streaming is really bad, isn't it? I've never actually seen it from this side, but that's funny. All right, so this is my current base. I've got my processing center down below and my library above. I've got a few spawning pad chambers, which we'll go through that a little bit later. Mostly it's just processing and crafting and designing new builds that this game really excels at. The video quality and the image quality of this game is just amazing. It is eye candy in every way imaginable. So what is Creativerse? As you could probably tell, everything is boxes, so that means it's a voxel sandbox. Not quite an RPG game, although there are RPG qualities to the game, such as the crafting mechanism, which will allow a person, whenever they first log in, to find a crafting table out in the world. Here, let me show you one that is a naturally spawning or naturally occurring crafting table. Happens to be one not too far away from where we started here today. There it is. So these are found throughout the world by the crazy inventor that ran around, and you'll learn more about him as you progress through the game and collect some of his journals and some of his creations' data chips. But these are the crafting stations, and inside the crafting station you will start out with just basic things. You start out with a crafting table, a wooden mining cell, the moss torch. If you're in early access, I believe you also get the flare bomb and the wooden sword. And then a few of the furniture items are available as well. Everything else is unlocked as you create or sacrifice creations to the crafting station god, that is. As you make new items, so if you look at this one has the flower pot, has the blue corner to the left top. That means that I have not crafted this yet. And if I were to craft it, it's possible that something like this would unlock another crafting recipe in the furniture section. Also, as you progress deeper into the world and collect new materials, you'll also unlock new items and recipes as well. So it is definitely an involved game that likes to... hello there, Smiley and Mesa. Nice to have you aboard. Thank you for joining us tonight. So the game actually kind of forces you to explore, to dig deeper, to go farther, and to fight new creatures so that you can actually get all of the recipes and get a feel for all of the game. There are a ton of creatures. A lot of the surface creatures, like I believe you just saw a Pigsy walking around earlier, little pig-shaped guy. This guy right here, he is a Pigsy. He is not grass. He is a Pigsy. There we go, if I equip my sword. And this guy is one of the first mobs or enemies that you will come and fight for, because you need his bones in order to craft the beginner sword, the wooden sword. But yes, they are very adorable. They have a great animation style to them. They are constantly giving them little tweaks to make them interact with the world better and to make them look more interesting. They have little sound effects to him. You can hear him snorting as he walks. Over here in the corner of the mountainside, which it'll get a little dark possibly. You guys can see, I think. This is a Leafy. They remind me of a very dangerous looking leaf bug, but they do not attack you. You hit them and they will run if you have a weaker sword. I happen to have all Lumite gear, which is the best gear currently in the game. But yes, as you collect things, as you unlock the recipes, you can get new building materials, which will allow you to build more complicated blocks. And these blocks look great. I'm very impressed by the quality of this game. This is an early alpha game, so it is not even full release yet. And before anyone asks or questions, you do actually have to pay in order to become part of the early access. There are many reasons for this, but it doesn't actually feel like you're paying for it. Just to be honest, the cash shop is how they're going to be doing it. This is going to be a free-to-play game. And yes, you do spend money to start into the free-to-play. You are paying in order to be able to access the early access game and playtest some of the features. That being said, they do give you a lot of perks for doing the early access. I don't know exactly where their plans are to go with those perks, so I'm not going to go into too many details as to what the past perks were, but they have given us the cash shop abilities whenever the cash shop was open. Unfortunately, a lot of people did not like the way the cash shop was playing out, so the devs listened to the community, which does not happen in most games. I just want to make sure you understand the devs are very, very involved with the players, and they removed the cash shop. They are giving the cash shop a complete overhaul. And somebody followed. Thank you, 3D Loki. Wow, I am not used to the sound effects, so that kind of surprised me. All right, so yes, the game can be actually found on Steam, and I am unsure, but they just recently had a great sale where it was like 60% off. It was crazy amounts. No, probably wasn't 60%. Don't quote me on the amount, but it was $11 or something like that. I believe I paid about $20 to get into the game, and I've already spent over 100 hours in this. So if you do the math, that is a very, very cheap game when you consider the playability of it. I have paid more for games that I have spent less time in and beaten and been very unimpressed with it. This game, it's amazing. Now just get this out of the way as well. Yes, Minecraft is a sandbox voxel game as well, but that's about as far as the similarities go between these two games. This kind of goes for a post-apocalyptic, crash-landed world setting where you have high-tech, such as the gauntlet that you see in the lower right-hand screen, the alien creatures and such like that. It does look like Earth, but I don't believe that it's meant to be Earth. I believe it's supposed to be a different... yes, 3D Loki. It's still 40% off until today. So if you're in and you don't have it, now is the time to go get it. So that was the short and long answers for what is Creativerse. It is based off the Unity engine as well. And I believe it was released back in August. Some of the individuals that are in chat may know better as to when the original first release was given out. And I'm not sure if we're allowed to say when updates are coming, but they are fairly regular and fairly often. So we are seeing a lot of build onto the game. We are seeing a lot of community involvement as to suggestions. There are several items in game that were actually not on the original roadmap, but that were added because they were requested and they fit with the theme. So the devs have a clear idea as to where they want the game to go, but they are way willing to allow the community to decide how some of the items get there and how some of the gameplay items get there. There are also some basic weather in the game now. We now have fog. They're building up to a more involved weather system, I'm hoping. I really would like to see some thunderstorms in this game. I know that in other voxel sandbox games, rain was the worst thing. It always happened when you didn't want it to. But I think in this world, a nice rainstorm would be really fun. So, on their forums at the steamcommunity.com, they have you can go to the store, click on Creativerse, and then follow the discussions. They actually have a frequently asked question. And some of the questions that are asked are, well, what makes this game so much different than any other sandbox voxel game that's out there? I did discuss some of this, but one of the great things is the multiplayer. Right now, I'm in a server. My Twitter is the Remy D as well. Let me go look that up real quick to see what my actual account is. I really don't Twitter very much. I'm not a Twitterer. Yes, it's at the Remy D, all one word. All right, back to the game. I'm going to go somewhere a little more safe while I discuss some of the things with you in case nighttime comes around. I don't think I have too much to worry about, but so one of the great things that it starts out with is the no-hassle multiplayer. Right now, I am currently on a multiplayer world with several other streamers that are for Creativerse and many other games. You should check some of them out. Black Nova 84, 3D Loki, I believe, are both. Right, the Lumite is exactly, yeah, that is the top tier material. So as you see, I'm actually in the top tier material right now. I have a spare Lumite sword. I have a Lumite mining cell. So this is more of the end game. I am now able to relax and not worry about any of the dangers of the world around me, unless Rockzilla decides to come and punch me into the corruption, which that wouldn't be fun. It's happened. Wasn't pretty. One of the first things that happens in your world, whether you are in multiplayer or not, is you are given a server and you are given a touchstone. Now, this is the touchstone up here. You can load it into your access bar. You place it onto the ground by selecting it. And then whenever you want to teleport to it, you can hit T, you can click on it, or you can hit T again to rapid fire your teleportation to the touchstone. Which means that you can now roam as far as you want, as freely as you want, dig hidey holes all the way around without any issues. Modern Hippie, yes, Lumite is it's the best, depending on what you're talking about. If you're wanting top tier, yes, it's the best. If you want to craft like a diamond gear, some people have said that they like that better for just walking around, strolling around, doing things on the overworld. But in order to really have a competitive edge down in the corruption level, which is the bottom level of the game, which I'll go into that in a little bit later, you definitely want to have Lumite. You can make it with the diamond or less. I have found myself without a weapon and fighting some of the harder mobs down there, and it's doable, but it is not fun. So yes, I would definitely go for the Lumite. The Lumite power cell has a great advantage as anything that is above the lava layer, it does not take any of the durability off of the actual device. So the Lumite power cell is right here, and I can do this all day long and not lose that Lumite power cell. Thank you very much, Modern Hippie. Welcome to the channel. Um, 3D Loki, I've actually had it degrade a little bit in the lava level as well. So lava and in the corruption is where I've had my Lumite power cell degrade. I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to be or what. Yeah, it definitely takes a lot of durability, so it takes a while to wear any of it down. It's definitely worthwhile to have. Um, I like having it on just because, let's face it, I'm a coward, and if you read any of my information below in the little section below the actual video down there, you will see that I will play horror games, but it will be comedic value for my watchers more than for enjoyment for me, because it'll make me cry. I'm a big, fat, grown man, and you're going to make me cry. Some of the other things about the games are when you die, you do not lose your inventory per se. This box, where you see all of these items, this will get stored in a death statue, and a marker will appear with a beacon in the world. The marker will show on your compass and will tell you where you can find your death statue. The death statues will hold all your items that were in your inventory, but you will keep your armor and you will keep what's in your hotbar. So you won't have to worry about losing your armor. Now, the armor will degrade. Every time you die, it degrades a little faster than just being hit, I believe. Some of these builds are amazing. Black Nova and a few other people put together this pathway that connects his house to the main central hub, the community hub of our server. They have obviously got a great eye for aesthetics. Another great thing about this, because it's a futuristic concept, there are teleporters in addition to the touchstones. And the teleporters can actually be programmed. Pretty doors. The touchstones can be programmed to go to certain locations. So there's my touchstone, the teleporter, with my codes. And then here's someone else's, and they have different codes in theirs all the way around. In order to get some of the items that are required for these, you do have to mine. And I apologize for how dark it is. They like the color scheme of the blue lights. But you can, as you progress and make the stronger power cells, you can go into deeper areas. And so now we're at the limestone and bedrock area, and then right here is suddenly the stalactite area. And so there's all sorts of wonderful things, and each area has its own mobs. This is a Miru and Night Rockster area, plus you find this mineral water all over the place, and the mineral water will heal you if you're damaged, but it'll also heal the enemies. So you do have to be a little careful on how you fight. In fact, that's one thing that I really like about the game. Thank you, Loki. I figured that's kind of what the case was. There's some of the storyline is revealed in the journals, in the what I call the Firstlings journals, and he kind of reveals the fact that we are in a different world than Earth. That he looks longingly at the sky, looking for something, and I don't know. It's a really great storyline. It's kind of an interesting concept that they reveal that later, as opposed to just right off the bat. To be honest, the first journal that you get whenever you first start the game, he sounds like a crotchety old man. Not that I would know how crotchety old men sound. As you can see, the graphics are beautiful and stunning, and the environment is very well thought out. Let's see, some of the other things, some of the other miscellaneous highlights, as they put it on their post, are the strategic combat. So each of the creatures actually have their own fighting style, a special ability per se. Let's see if we can't get one of them out here to demonstrate. Of course, normally they're always attacking me in the least opportune moments, and now they don't want to. Here we go. Here is a night pixie. So you saw the early pixie, the yellow pixie, which is over there. This is what the night pixie looks like. Over here. Yes, this way. So that right there is his catapult ability. And it tosses you into the air and throws you back. Once again, I have Lumite, so it's fairly easy for me to defeat them. But each of the creatures has one of these attacks. The rocksters, or the crab-looking creatures that are around water usually, or in deep caves, they will do a turtle attack, which they kind of hunker down and become invincible for a second, and they launch themselves into the air spinning and kind of knock you back. And some of the other creatures have different abilities, which I'll let you explore as you go into the game and look around. 3D Loki. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think that the first journal is a little silly, but it does explain an important gaming mechanic. When you first start, you have to find a crafting table. You cannot craft anything on your own without the crafting table. In addition, you don't have to memorize any of the patterns for any of the recipes. You simply go into the crafting table and right-click on whatever item that you're wanting, or you can drag and drop it into the slot here, and it just tells you what ingredients you need. Oh, there you go. So we're going to go take a little field trip over to 3D Loki's place and show you some of the other creatures that are there. He has a nice little petting zoo, which is fun. If you see me pause and look down, what I'm doing is I'm looking at my notes to make sure I get all the information that everyone has been talking about and discussing. Happy mineral water. All right, so of course. Okay, so this is the petting zoo, and it looks like all of our pets have run away. Sad panda. Loki, the curators for your petting zoo, they should be fired. Okay, so Loki says that it's not that it's silly, but as the story goes, Pixie breaks and stops talking to the OP, and it was Pixie who brought you into the game, not the OP. Supposedly, OP either died or took off, and Pixie was left alone. Yes, as the story is revealed, I'm trying not to give too many hints as to what has happened. Let people figure out some of the things. There are two forms of storyline material. There are the data chips, and there is the journals. Okay, so there's a night rockster in the distance. All of the nighttime creatures are kind of glowing, and I'm sure he does not want them in his base. They kind of glow, which is nice. It makes it very easy to see them in the dark caverns, so you kind of get a hint that they're coming. They also have very distinct sounds for each of the creatures, which is very nice. You can hear them through the caves as they walk around and hunt for you. They do, like I said, they do have a future roadmap. They have a very set idea of what they want in-game and what they do not want to include. They have a very strong theme. One of the things that they're looking into for future reference is mod support. It's something that they would like. I'm not sure how they would do it. That's a personal statement, not one of theirs. But it is something that they are looking into. If there are any additional questions, they also, yes, the Night Rocksters have skulls on their faces. Makes them look rather tribal. I kind of like it. I really like the nighttime creatures, the way they look. And they can track you through glass. So the Pigsy is coming to say hi. Um, if you have any other questions, I'd be more than happy to try to answer them. I am obviously not a developer. I do not have the answers. 3D Loki probably has more answers than I do about the game. Um, but I can show you some of the blocks. So this is the processor. Some of the items, such as flowers and vines, can be processed to create more advanced items. In this case, the flowers create pigments that allow you to dye certain things. Um, there's a forge, which allows you to smelt certain items. So any kind of ore that you dig up has to be smelted in order to be used into crafting recipes. Some of the items actually have to be smelted and then processed again. So there is a little bit of a rabbit trail, but it's not very bad. A lot of people complain about the time frame that's required. Someone's processing sticks. If I process this, you see that it's 30 seconds per flour to process. Some of the items take up to 3 minutes to process. Yeah, 3D Loki is the Creativerse OnStar. Have any questions? Just ask him. Yes, 3D Loki has about 500 hours. There are people who have over 800 hours, which is absolutely amazing. And some of the builds that they've put together are really, really beautiful. I've been given permission to, at a later time, hop onto their server and show you around some of their builds as well. So that'll be something that happens not this week, but maybe some other week. Um, so that was all of the information that I absolutely wanted to have covered. Yeah, Smiling Mesa, I also have over 100 hours. So you and I are right up there. 3D Loki, look out. We're on our way. We're going to overpower you. It may take both of us together, but we will do it. Just so you know, it's going to happen. The Keepa that I first killed whenever I first came in, he drops something called arc stones. And arc stones are used to be creating the architect line of devices. So there's torches, there's chests, which these are all actually named, so you're not seeing what they're called, but these are the architect chests. There's grand architect chests, which have more of an angular design. There are brighter and larger lights that come along with it. There's some lights that are also not using the architect. So you have a lot of variety in how you build. We shall see. You have a month to get up to 800 hours. That actually doesn't seem as hard as it sounded at first. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open up my chat. Is anyone in game still? Well, we like having you back, 3D Loki. All right. So one of the features that I know a lot of people have asked about that they couldn't figure out is the function for scrolling in the chat menu. If you hit the Alt button, it brings up your cursor and allows you to close if you click the red dot on the chat cursor, move things around, and also scroll through your chat. Now, one thing I've noticed, which is a little clunky to me, is the fact that even when you're in the mouse cursor form, if you click, it does activate your action bar. So something to be aware of if you have your power cell active and you're standing near someone's place and you try to click, it may suck up their blocks and kind of grief their place. Just be sure to put it back. Let's not be griefers. It's fun to play this game. Griefing is not fun. Hit escape or alt again to go back to the normal cursor mode, which is with the crosshair in the center. So why does my purification potion last half a second? Purification potion. Are you talking about regeneration potion. Yeah, the corrupted water is pretty brutal. I mean, you have to be pretty careful about what's going on with that. Also, the corrupted water seems to really eat through armor. So do the corrupted mobs. There are corrupted forms of each of the creatures that you find throughout the levels, except for the hot feet, thank goodness, and the worms. But the Miru, the Rocksters, the Chizards, which are chicken-like creatures, the Pigsies, the Leafies, and then there's also a special creature down there that is Butch. It is the thing. There's also, right now there's currently one boss creature that you have to summon in game. We had fun with that a couple nights ago. Or was that last night? I don't even remember anymore. My life has become Creativerse. But yeah, you guys, if you're actually in game already, you guys can go ahead and chat in the chat box for game now if you want. If you're not in game, please enjoy watching the stream. There are a couple things that I'm probably going to do in these streams. One of the things will be designing builds and exploring some of the blocks that are available. We'll probably do some hunting. I may go after, like, oh goodness, I don't want to say that. I will just show you each of the mobs in turn. Like I've shown you the creatures that are on the surface here, the Leafy, the Pigsy. I can show you probably a Rockster. I lied. I need to find some sand. I can show you a Rockster, sort of. I can show you Rockzilla. He's a giant form of the Rockster. So that's what a Rockster looks like, only they're usually much, much smaller. That guy is one of the boss creatures. And he is happily guarding his little temple to him. Oh yeah, definitely. I'm going to show you the Hedge Mage. So RP Junkie, or Smiley and Mesa, came and was discussing with me some concepts for large builds, and we discussed a Hedge Mage, and he made it a reality. Absolutely amazing. I'm just going to teleport back to the center and then go look at it. The maze is absolutely amazing, and the fact that he built it, he took you what, 4 hours to put together. I came in, I helped with clearing out the land, and I think I came in at the last and helped with the top layer of leaves. Yes, I am that guy. The one that comes at the very end. Hey, can I help you with anything? Yeah, 4 hours, and it definitely shows. It is very, very nice. So this is what it looks like at the side. It does not look very impressive from the side. I'll go up to, I'm going to go up to RP's base and also show you from up here. The amount of detail that he put into this is amazing. You can kind of see, I mean, it is a true hedge maze, and it is based off of one that's in England. It's actually really complicated to maneuver through. He made it 3 blocks high because the current player model jumps about 2 blocks high. So if you're in the maze, jumping doesn't help you figure it out. I've tried. It's complicated. It's fun, but it's complicated. RP, I actually remember. I remember whenever I first got on and I was helping Black Nova, and then the next time I came on, you had this huge staircase up into the mountains. And I'm just like, who has been on that long already? I only knew about the server for like a day, and already there was someone who had a huge monastery-like staircase up the mountains. So this is RP Junkie's base, and I really like how he has everything set up. He's kind of like our. Ooh, I like that blue adobe for the Miru farm there. Anyway, he's kind of like our ice hermit. He's up in the mountains. But there is the hedge maze. Speak English, I do. Um, yeah, that I couldn't even imagine actually laying out all those blocks. It took forever just to dig it out, but it's really, really nice. It's a lot of fun to go through it. As you can see, chests spawn throughout the hedge maze. Also, bees spawn throughout the hedge maze, and so do some of the yellow flowers, I believe. And 3D Loki is looking to give away a key to the game. So if you do not have the game, please tell Loki we're sorry that Odin cursed you to be a female. I don't know how much of the storyline of Loki you know, man. I'm sorry. So there's another texture. The blue adobe has an amazing texture. I like that. But these are the gizzards. These are the chicken guys. This is a bridge in progress. um, yeah, RP, you went above and beyond with your staircases. It just looks great. So there's also several different types of trees in this game, which is kind of cool. I really like the leaves of the elder leaves. There are also cragwood, which is one of the basic materials that you will need whenever you first start playing. And then there are the ashenwood. And ashenwood is also another tree that you want to look for. It's this white, dare I say, birch-looking bark to it, but it's the ashenwood tree. Each tree actually will spawn its own color of flowers. So the elderwood spawn the blue ones, the ashenwood spawn red, the cragwood spawn the yellow leaves, and the leaves are the flowers. Sorry, the flowers are used to create the the writers. Blame it on the writers. It's always the writer's fault. No, I've got my own pair of those, thank you. Yeah, so any chance of having a PG stream goes out the window the moment Loki comes in, which is fine. I am okay with that. Let's see if I can find some cragwood for you as an actual tree instead of just leaves. Okay, so here is a cragwood tree. It is a 2x2 base. I know that's really dark, but and they're huge. And you can see some of the yellow flowers up there. There you go, Modern Hippie. Congratulations. Hopefully your friend gets to join the game soon. Yeah, so don't jump over blind ridges. Not always the best idea. Fortunately, that wasn't a far drop. Do you guys mind if I show some of the bases? Oh, I'm just warning people ahead of time, Loki. I'm totally cool with whatever you want to say, so long as, you don't bring death threats to me. I went ahead and flagged all my videos as, you know, warnings, just in case things happen. Because I'm definitely one to have nerd rage on things. Most of the time, I will be very PG. In fact, most of the time, I'll probably be G. Gee whiz, Charlie Brown. All right, so first up, we've already been to 3D Lokis. You saw the petting zoo and his dark and gloomy base, which is actually really cool looking. Um, he's one of those people that likes to play with corruption on the surface. Oh, dangerous things happen with that. Yeah, I'm. This is my first time ever doing anything with Twitch as an actual stream. So, 3D Loki, get with me, um, and you can explain some of that in detail as to what I need to do. See, look at that. There's a Keepa sitting right outside your base, Black Nova. I'm assuming you're going after it. So I just teleported to Black Nova's touchstone, and here's his base. So this is one of the cash shop items, stained glass windows. There's also a red one. I think your roof has all three of the colors. I'm only seeing the two colors. Okay, so he has the yellow and blue. I know my base I use the red as well. Um, but that is definitely one of the cash shop items. It is a very nice item. There's also some fireworks, which I can show in a little bit. I'm going to wait until it's nighttime in game to show those, though. Because, I don't know. They look cool during the day, but they are amazing at night. The fireworks are also a cash shop item. There are a few other items that are cash shop items, or at least they were. There was the super extractor, which I've heard rumor that they're going to get that out of the cash shop. Is that what everyone else has heard? That they might make that like a rare recipe or even just an unlockable recipe in regular crafting. There are other stone packs, so like this is a stone texture and that's a stone texture, but there are special textures that you can purchase as a pack in the cash shop, or there was whenever the cash shop was around. So it is not a pay to win. There is no real end game to this game. I'm not sure if the Chizard is running away. And that's what happens when your sword breaks. Carry an extra. Do you need some help, Black Nova? Alright, looks like you got it. Yeah, I'm going to have to read that comment a little bit later because there's a lot of great information. I've also heard that maybe a sex change would help my ability to get subscribers, but that's not going to happen. Maybe I can get a company like Big and Tall to sponsor me. Oh, there's another Miru. So these are the Miru. They like the dark. Hopefully there are no holes that I'm going to fall into. Flash, blinded. That is their ability. They blind you, they turn you around, make you disoriented. I actually really like the mirror. I think they're pretty cool. You can avoid being blinded, but you have to figure out the mechanics for that on your own. I'm not going to give everything away. So what kind of things would you like to see on the stream, guys? I'm also open to play other games. If you look below the video right now, you'll see some of the other games that I have. Um, I do like more of the casual gaming experience, but like I said, if there is another game that you would really like to see me stream, just let me know. It probably won't happen immediately, but if it happens, I will be more than happy to stream whatever game. There we go. I know that I recently found the Dust and Elysium Tale, and that looks like a really fun game. I played a little bit of it, but not enough to where it'd be able to really give a strong feel for the game. I do like the controls for it. One thing that I really like about this game's... Okay, so the spawners. Yeah, well, that's actually what we were just watching you take care of, was some of the mobs from one of your spawners. So in the game, I believe others have said this is like some of the other games that they've played, where a certain block formation becomes a biome. So you can force biomes. Like I mentioned earlier, as you dig deeper, you can actually find different mobs, and their drops are better as you go farther down. Well, in theory, they're better. There are different drops, and some of the drops you need for crafting materials. So, I think I'm going to go over to my base and show you. I have 2 spawning pads that I've made. I have a lava biome, and I also have the stalactite biome, which both RP Junkie and I have worked really hard to figure out how to do the spawning mechanics for the stalactite level. I think we got it down. Right now my touchstone is at the community hub so that people can find the community hub easily. Hopefully that will be able to change soon. So you'll have to pardon me as I go to the community hub and then go down to my teleporter. Well, like I said earlier, the hedge mage... Okay, so I may have done some role-playing in my life, and hedge mage was one of my favorite classes. Hedge maze, which is out in the field right by RP Junkie's place, that seems to spawn leafies and chests, bees, and flowers. So using a massive amount of leaves in one area will cause those spawns to occur. The chests are rated as the levels that you would dig down. So the chests that spawn on leaves would be the wood level chests. Chests that would spawn on stone are the stone chests. Maybe the stalactite or stone. I can't remember exactly where they are. So you see all these lava blocks. There's the igneous rock, and then there's the hardened lava. And this is going to get dark. I apologize for that. Okay, so there's a worm in here, and as I come in here, and that's their special ability. Oh, great, there's another one. And they drop worm teeth, which is an important ingredient. Also down here, you'll find chests occasionally. Over here is my Miru farm. And so yes, I do have a working Miru farm. The way I did this was, it's a 9x9 floor stalactite. I did 2 blocks high of stalactite, and the rest is stone. I think the mechanics for spawning pads has to do with the amount of blocks in a specific chunk. I obviously don't know that for sure. Okay, so the stalactite level is the iron chests, and then diamond chests are in the corrupted level. Yeah. I have a difficult time remembering which one is which in the chest names, but if you highlight over them, like I do with Forge, if you look down above the hotbar, you'll see that the name of the item is actually given to you. And then this is a concept that I made, but each of the forced biomes, like I said, I believe it's based off of the number of count of blocks specific to that biome in a given chunk. So on the lava spawner, I used a 10 by 10 surface area on the bottom. And then on the stalactite level, I had to use a 9 by 9. Yeah, 3D Loki, everyone has a different opinion about that. Whenever I've tried 8 by 8, I've had it work sometimes and sometimes not. And that's what leads me to believe that it's based off of block count in a certain chunk. Like in a certain radius within that chunk. I don't know for sure. Like I said, you could be right. It could be just an 8 by 8, and I've had bad luck with my 8 by 8s. They do seem to need darkness. Some need it more than others, like the lava level really requires darkness, and I believe the stalactite level does as well. The leaf, not so much. It doesn't really care. I've seen other people just put a cap above, like a roof, without walls and get spawns and lava ones, but I've never been able to get that. Okay, so there you go. So the devs have said it's an 8 by 8. Is that in a specific chunk, though, or is that... Like, I don't even know if this game truly does chunks. I believe it does because I've seen some chunk load errors. When everything gets really bogged down with lag, occasionally a chunk will disappear, and so I'm not totally sure. But does the 8 by 8 have to be inside a specific chunk, or can it just be across several? Anyway, while we're waiting for the Creativerse OnStar to answer our question, this is a trick that I discovered for teleporters. So my teleporter here is actually above. Occasionally, if they're laying on the ground or if they're set down on the ground and you teleport through them, you'll get caught in a kind of a weird loop that you'll keep teleporting as you move because it'll put you just outside the block, and whenever you step in, it'll teleport you. But by doing this, you teleport here, and then you'll drop whenever you load into the area. I can show that quickly here. So if I come in here, that's just a yellow lamp. There's my teleporter. If I jump up, I am now where the other teleporter was. I really like that. So here's the red stained glass that I was talking about earlier. It takes it at least. Oh, tricky languages. Alright, so I guess I will show some of the creatures on the deeper levels. Show a little bit of each of the levels, I guess. The community hub that we have set up actually has a staircase that goes down through all of the levels and ends at our corruption base, and each level has a base as well. So like right here, whenever I teleported in, I teleported directly on the block, but sometimes you would teleport just next to it, and if there was another teleporter too close, whenever you moved, you'd go into the other teleporter. By having the drop system, I avoid that issue. So I've already shown the top mobs and some of the stalactite mobs. So we'll go a little deeper. You saw the lava with my spawning pad has the warm worms and the hot foot. I don't think you saw any of those. Oh goodness. There was a lot of Keepa activity. So there's a hot foot in the distance. Ugh, disgusting creatures. Our guard worm there. So they've put together a bunch of the people, I believe, or was it just you, Black Nova? Well, like I said, I used only stalactite and stone in my stalactite spawner. I did a 9x9. And I did mine under the ground, and you saw that it was working in the stream. But yeah, for RP, we actually had to do his floating above the ground. Hey, RP, is your or Smiley and Mesa? I'm not sure which one you want me to go by. Is your below ground one working? Has that one started working yet? Because if not, you might want to change the walls and ceiling to just stone and see if that helps your spawn rate. Yeah, I don't know why, but 3D Loki, have you actually gotten a stalactite one working for you? Alright, so here's a hotfoot that is coming over here to say hi. Possibly. One thing that I really like about the combat system here is you can actually evade attacks to some degree. In other sandbox voxel games, the moment they've shot, you're either hit or not, and that always kind of frustrated me. Yeah, see, I don't know. I would try an 8x8, and if for whatever reason that's not working, just start switching out blocks at random for some of the other blocks. I know that what has worked for me in both times that I've built it. Right, the Miru actually spawn in caves that are above ground. They're not necessarily localized to just the stalactite level. That's right, 3D Loki. It's a little bit of a trick, but you can kind of force them to spawn. Um, One thing that I have noticed is by using all stalactite, I have not seen any chests. So I don't know if maybe I need a different block to get some of the stalactite level chests to appear or not. Yeah, mine's just one layer as well. Yeah, so the rocksters, specifically the night rocksters, they'll spawn in caves. They'll spawn in the stalactite level at night, roaming around the world, um, all over the place. And then the Miru in the caves as well. Wormworm typically like the stalactite level and the lava level. But yeah, stalactite doesn't have any mob specific to just it. Alright, so that was a little bit of a chunk lag there that you saw. That occasionally will happen when coming down to the corrupted level. The corrupted level is also very dark. It can be hard to see off into the distance. And all of the mobs are their corrupted versions, so they're a little bit more difficult. As you can see, we've actually healed them. If you take a healing beacon, and I think someone actually had some down here. If you bring them down here, then you can change the corrupted level from the corruption back to normal, or I guess you can change it to normal. Someone left a Lumite down here. Anyone knows who that belongs to? At least I'm assuming it's... Could be Diamond. Yeah, it's Diamond, not Lumite. Pardon me. All right, so right there, I don't know if you saw that. We have one of the most dangerous denizens. Actually, there's quite a few of them popping up now. I hope this is not a repeat of what happened the other night. Oh, and there's some corruption. Yuck. So that right there was the thing. And there's a... Oh, wow. We've got a train of mobs coming. Let's bring them to a safe place. Actually, I think this is the exact place that I had problems with them earlier with. Come on. So here is the most dangerous denizen of the deep. The corruption zone is the thing. And it, like I said before, it is possible to come up with fighting plans for each of the creatures. Oh, don't let them spend too much time healing. Are you running away? I did not know that these things ran away. And as you can see, this takes a lot of durability chasing this guy around and killing him. And he sounds absolutely horrifying. Oh, just die already. Preferably not me. Yeah, two things, one stick. Hopefully that won't happen again. That was definitely not on my list of things to repeat. There we go. As you saw, is whenever you were getting close to defeating him, the sound actually changes when you're attacking him, the sound. So this is the kind of drops that you can expect. Oh, great. 2 blue adobe roofs, which, that's nice. I already actually have that. A couple diamond swords, some diamond chest plates, corruption dust, and then a diamond, there we go, diamond mining cell. So we'll take all those in case anyone still doesn't have the blue adobe roof. Although I'd be surprised. So there you go. That was the most dangerous denizen that's down here. Although the Chizards, the corrupted Chizards, are far more annoying with their attacks than the thing is. In my opinion. I just like the Chizards on every level. You've had them blind you and run. It's like a tourist from out of the country. Right after you take your picture, flash you, and run. Okay, that could be taken differently. Moving on. Alright, RP Junkie's place. We've been there. And Nova's, that's where we actually came from. So this was the corruption level. This is where you find Lumite, although I kind of cheat. I just pay Loki Arkstones for Lumite, because he finds it like it's just laying on the ground, and I look for it and can't find a thing. Well, I find things. That's not a problem at all. I find several of those. But Lumite I do not find. Occasionally it'll be in the water, or it might be up in the ceiling. RP, you're the one that does the catwalk across the ceiling of the corrupted zone to get your Lumite, right? Yeah, so see, this is brand new gear, and it's already taking quite a beating. I literally made this Lumite gear just before starting this this stream. Yeah, so it's actually a really good idea to do that. There's lots of ores that are up at the ceiling. In fact, Lumite I find at the ceiling a lot if I do find it on my other worlds. Occasionally you'll see, like, here's some diamond that are in the water, but you have to be careful about that because, like, this water's been healed with a healing beacon, but originally it's the purple corrupted water, and that'll take a beating out of your gear real quick. That being said, you can also craft potions of corruption resistance, which will help you fight off down here. Yeah, I like the day leafies. The leafies are fun. Although it makes me feel a little bad that I run up to them, beat them with my stick, and they run away. I thought they liked that. Hey, there's Black Nova. Howdy, man. Alright, so here's what the diamond sword looks like when it's equipped. Very nice imaging. But whenever you first start off in the world, you have the almighty stick. Whereas with the Lumite sword, it took one hit to defeat one of these guys. "12 hits with a stick." Oh, goodness. Where are one of the leafies? The leafies are fun. Yeah, everything was chasing me and doing nothing to Black Nova earlier while we were trying to figure out a location that we were hunting down. Alright, so here is a leafy. Whenever I attacked the Pigsy, he immediately started attacking me. When you hit a leafy, they run away. And yay lag. Alright, so I know that the jumping, occasionally when you're jumping, and there's a random Chizard just sitting down here. Alright, normally those are up in the mountains, but they do spawn down here a little bit. The high jumps. So occasionally when you're running around, jumping around on things, you'll get a high jump. I'm looking for a specific spot that I can force a high jump on. I may have to make one. There is a way to force them to happen. I don't know if that's intended or not. But occasionally you'll find where a couple of blocks are like this, where you can run up to the corner, and if they're in a, like this, there you go. It'll launch you up 3 blocks as opposed to your 2 high jump normally. You can run, you'll get that extra boost. Yes, I'm just showing the exploits. Yeah, everyone has complained about the stair and ramp launching. I have not had nearly as bad an issue. I think they either toned it down a little bit, or I don't know. But some people were being launched way up into the air. I can show another glitch that's actually, I actually really like the glitch. It has to do with the block clipping as well. So if you are inside a block when you place it and you jump, now that's a high jump. Do not do that where you're going to fall. Oh, joy. So Team Man thinks that we have a griefer. Yeah, I actually kind of like having the high jumps though, and oh, I guess I should put a sword on. There we go. Whenever I play in my own world, I actually built a base that required you to utilize that water jump there in order to get into the base, and it was fun. Go to the left. Oh, Team Man 2 is talking about somebody's house burnt down because they had torches too close to thatch and wood. Yeah, that wasn't a bomb. There was no griefer. What happens is fire next to wood is not a good thing. I can't remember whose house that was originally that was over there that happened to. Oh, yeah, it was hardcores. Yeah, I believe Black Nova actually warned him that that might be something that was going to happen with the torches. Yeah, and since I haven't seen him on since that happened too, so he may have been pretty bummed out about it. You know, the being tossed down, that has only happened to me once, and that was when I was fighting the Night, or not the Night Riser, the Rockzilla. We killed Rockzilla a couple times, a few times, quite a bit the other night, and one time he did his knockback attack, and when it hit me, it threw me down like across the world to the world edge, and then dropped me into the corruption, and I could not teleport out until I hit the corruption and started taking damage, and I had to find land. Once I got onto the land that didn't have anything on it, I could teleport back to the touchstone. I survived, luckily, but oh, that would have sucked having to try to find that beacon. There's someone's base off in the background there. We'll go take a look at that. I think I know whose it is. Oh, here's another one right here. So we actually have quite a few people. Yeah, I really appreciate that too, Black Nova. Thanks for pointing that out, Team Man 2. Black Nova is being really nice and hosting my stream for me. Um, yeah, this is the first time I've ever streamed, and so he's being really generous and helping out. So this is someone's build that looks like it's not quite finished, but it's definitely nice. It's big and airy. I do like the thought that they're putting into their design. Definitely a nice build. Hopefully they'll come back on and finish it. Hey, thanks for the follow, Team Man 2. I appreciate that. Oh, there's a Keepa somewhere around here. Sure, the owner of this property would like to be able to get that. I believe this is Odin's runes. So we have Odin and Thor both, or Odin and Loki both on this server. So we've got a bit of the Norse gods going on. Yes, this is Odin Rune's place. Until I get permission from him, I'm not really going to show it around. Nova, I would say that this, if you're listening, that you might want to come over here and take a look at his spawners. He has this really cool spawning house, and it's a very nice little design, very blocky, but it looks like he might have all of the spawners working. Oh, there it is. There's the mystical Keepa. Only one arcstone, a wood-powered cell, and a wooden sword and some stuff. Not too impressive, really. But yeah, so, I mean, this game is one of those games that I absolutely love simply because I can just start walking off. Oh. Yeah, that's what I was first thinking of when I said Thor, because I saw him. He recently posted in the forums. I don't know if that was today or yesterday. And so that I was thinking it was Thor. I was like, no, it's Odin's runes. So we could have Odin, Loki, and Thor. And then we just need to get some Freya and some of the other Norse gods. All I gotta say is if we get anybody else with a Norse god name onto the server, you guys have to go build their homeland. Wow, totally blanked out. Alfheim, or whatever the world is that they all live on. Black Nova is our Keepa hunter. Okay, so there's just a regular Rockster. And they typically spawn out here next to the sand. But this is one of the mesas. At least that's what I call it. Valhalla, yeah. We can get some Furies, all sorts of wonderful things out here. Rainbow Bridge, yeah. I'm hoping that they get some of the biomes that they're talking about. They haven't really hinted at what kind of biomes they're going to be putting out, but they've hinted at the fact that they're going to be putting out some more biomes. I really hope that they come out with those. Unfortunately, that means I think we have to restart our world, doesn't it? When it's something like terrain generation difference. Well, thank you, Team Man 2. I appreciate that. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure it out, but I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you guys are too. But this is another thing that I really like. I've mentioned the graphics of this game being above and beyond what I would expect of an alpha game. But look at the night sky. One thing I wish that they would have would be some sort of moving night entity across the sky so I could track what time of the night it was. During the day they have the sun, and there's some stationary images in the background as well. But during the night, we've just got these set constellations, which is kind of fun. I've thought about trying to learn north, south, east, and west based off of the constellations in the sky instead of looking up at the compass. I don't know, just to be silly. Cliff jump. I know every other streamer's already covered this, but what are some features that you guys really are looking forward to in the next, if you could have it in the next two patches or next two revisions, what are the most have features that you want or fixes? Depth perception, not a thing. All right. Lots of things happening in the channel or in the game right now. Just the first and third. What were his floors? Like, what did he have as his spawning floors? Yeah, in-game trading. Oh, goodness. So right now there is a way of trading things with people, but you have to carry a chest with you everywhere you go, and it has to be empty or else you can't. It's a real hassle. So being able to go up to another player and just initiate a trade with them would be definitely worthwhile as far as in-game practices, especially with a game that focuses on multiplayer, um, like this one does. Obviously, you can play single player. You can create a world and lock it, and I'll show that in a different stream, how to actually create your own worlds and open them up or lock them down for private use. But the real magic of this game is the fact that without any special issues, without any special tools, without having to find a hoster like Creeper Host or whatever, you can host your own game and invite your friends on and give them the password, or you can just leave it open completely and allow absolutely anyone into the game. So with that kind of a focus, I really do hope that they do crafting, or not crafting, trading. Welcome, Bellafor. I didn't see that you had joined. That's definitely a recipe. Yellow bed. Do I have that yet? Yeah, I already have that. So that'll be another recipe that I put in there. So his third floor is the Miru. Oh, only one I can't get to work. I don't know if I understood what he's saying there. Yeah, my building, I built spawners today specifically because I wanted to see how well those work. So like here's a surface mirror, and that doesn't normally happen. So more than likely he came from a cave that's nearby. Yeah, here's the cave. And there's a night rockster. And there's their special attack. It's the turtle attack. Um, you see, I don't know about NPCs. There's a lot of things they could do with NPCs. Like they could have established villages or whatever. Um, One thing that I would kind of like to see is almost like a repopulation type of a situation where there's like maybe one small village here and there, but they can grow to a certain point. So dynamic villaging, dynamic NPCs maybe is a better way of putting that. And definitely the new biomes, especially with some of the concepts that people have come up with for biomes. Like I really do think that they should do like a cloud biome. I think that would be kind of cool. Um, I'm curious if they're going to do anything with the bottom of the world, the end of the world block. Are they going to extend that any further down? Team into a village of what? If they were to add in NPC villages, so villages that you could go and trade things with villagers and interact with the villagers in different ways. I would kind of like to see a dynamic village, which means that it would start out as just, a couple of huts and then expand into a local commerce, uh, maybe specializing in local assets. So the if there's a plains biome, like this would be considered the plains as far as I can tell. If there was a plains biome, then they would specialize in drops and, maybe like stone, like make them the mining village, or maybe the mountain people would be the mining village and ice, but be able to have stores and stuff like that. That's another thing that I would like, is if they do trading, maybe do stores. So be able to set up a stall and have exchange rates and stuff. I think that might be fun. Yeah, see, that's what happened with me. Odin's Rune is saying that he added stone back and the Miro back. For my spawner, I have only stone and stalactite, and I am spawning Miru. That being said, I am not spawning any of the chests that are found on the stalactite level, so maybe that's found with the different, like the siltstone and stuff, is where the chests are, what the chests are tied to. Another thing that I'd like to see is, I mean, I know that they don't want to reveal their roadmap completely, in case people are like, well, look, they didn't finish this item or whatever in time. I would like a generalized, here are some hot points that we would like to see implemented into the game at some point. Maybe not a prioritized list, but just a general list of, hey, in the future, you might see these things. Yeah, but see, it was initiated with just stone and stalactite, so I don't know if we forced it and then afterwards it was sustainable with just the stalactite. Yeah, like I said, 3D Loki says that it's 8 by 8. He has way more hours than I do, and he talks to the devs more than I do, so I would go by what he says. But I don't know, I feel like maybe it has something to do with, if you have an 8 by 8 inside a chunk, that counts perfectly fine, but if you cross the chunk border, then you don't have as strong as of an 8 by 8. And if you have two spawners that are close to each other that break the barrier, you have to have the block count. Because I feel like that's what happened with my spawners at my base. Let's see if I can actually get there. 2, 1, and go. Yeah, that would be nice, Black Nova. I really do like that idea. Um, like, I know that people have requested that the leaves decay, and they've said something about how that would be difficult at this point for doing leaf decay. Um, I'm not sure if they're still looking into maybe taking a different route with that. I would definitely like to stop having floating trees and giant sky bushes. Yeah, my lava biome tends to spawn them a lot. The chests, I mean, it spawns the chests quite a bit. Although I haven't been spending enough time in this area for this area to really be working correctly. So, oh, I can't see. Hey, thank you, Faux Buffet. I like your name. But oh yeah, what I was gonna do over here, I wasn't looking at the chests. Okay, so I do have ADD. Let you know that right off the bat. So, I have my spawning chambers one block apart, and they are literally sharing the same chunk at points if chunks work the way I think they do. And so I've got all of this lava wall, or all of these igneous rocks and the hardened lava going up the wall, same with the stalactites. And I had to have that in order to make the spawners activate. Without that, they did nothing. And I actually had RP Junkie come take a look at it. I had Black Nova take a look at it. And that was ultimately what we figured out, was that if I put it on the walls, it would work. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Phobafet. Thank you very much. Yeah, this is my base. I don't know if you caught that, and we're not sure how long you've been around. Um, yeah, I really like it. So one thing that I've noticed a lot of people doing is tons and tons of forges. My secret number is 14. Reason I do that is because... Okay, RP Junkie is not talking to me. All right, so the reason that I do that is because a full stack of ore or processed item is 99. That will fill most of these. I then have a little bit extra because of other processing needs. Definitely helps out because I'm one of those people that I come up from mining or collecting a bunch of things, and I just process it all. And then I'll realize, oh, hey, my Lumite sword is halfway gone. I kind of want to have a backup. Now I need to process Lumite and everything is taken. Well, I can just go over to these last 2 or 3 and fill it up. So 14 seems to be working well for me. Other people have different amounts that they like. The more the merrier, I suppose. And if you really want to know my opinion, Phobafet, this game is definitely worthwhile. It is worth the money to get into early access and be able to see how the game develops and get to know the developers who are developing it. They're very much a part of the online community. Thank you, Bellaflora. I am a lazy builder. Normally I am not a builder in sandbox voxel games. This game really lends itself to building. It's hard not to build structures in this game, but I'm a lazy builder, so I do what every good lazy builder does. I build into a mountain, so I have less that I have to do. This is going to be a future attempt, and you'll likely see it on my streams on Friday nights from 10 to midnight Central Standard Time. I'm going to be turning this into an observatory, and so if anyone has any ideas of what they'd like to see in the observatory, what I'd like to do is I'd like to get close to, if not all the way up to build level, and then have the top of this be a glass dome so that you can get all the way up to build level and look around at these absolutely wonderful mountains that I've got surrounding my area and some of these caves that are down here. And this might be a good thing when you first start. This is the kind of formation that you're wanting to look for once you've got extractors and power cells. You want to at least have the stone power cell. If you come down to a low area inside one of these caverns, you'll have to light it up. But you will find huge veins of coal and obsidian, which are essential for early game, and the obsidian never really becomes something that goes away. You will always need obsidian for extractors and some of the more advanced. So this is something that I really like. So it just got really dark and murky, and that's because I am under an overhang. Whenever I get out from the overhang, the sky suddenly lights up. And there are the 2 moons. You know, RP Junkie, you are more than welcome to come over and help anytime you want. As far as the stream goes, I guess we have a half hour. We could go ahead and do something. I haven't quite figured out. I think what I'd like to do is, like, this is just a first band around the bottom. I don't want to continue using the Adobe brick wall all the way up. I want to have some sort of um, color change going up, and then also maybe some outcroppings. So maybe even while the main concept would be it's an observatory, so that the top level would have the glass dome, have certain have little parts that jut out, um, kind of like a castle tower off the side occasionally, to kind of give a view of the random areas. So like if you were to go all the way to build height and look out this way, you'd kind of see more of the fog, the like you see in the distance there. Yeah, like the telescope type. That's exactly what I'm thinking is for the observatory. Um, Although because the telescopes typically were at an angle, it may end up being more like Space Needle. But when I say observatory, what I was thinking was you know, view distant galaxies through a giant telescope in order to enjoy the night sky type of thing. Um, is more of like an aesthetic thing. There won't be too many processing items, so there may be craft. I'm trying to stream. Why you do that? Okay. Um, but yeah, so I there may be a crafting station here and there, but and there. As far as like forges and processors, I'm not going to go crazy with that. I don't know. Does that explain the concept for this? This is going to be a long build, I think. So if you want to know your current coordinates, you can type slash slash, and it will actually show up above your name. So if you look just above my name, it says the server position. Um, that is XYZ. So X is, oh, look at my handy chandy. X is to the west and east. Z is the north and south, and Y is the height value. So we are currently at 105, and the build height, I believe, is 200 something. So we still have that it could go up another 100 blocks. And so I may not actually go completely to build height, but I want to go up at least above the mountains so you can look down at it. Yeah, so I don't know. Does anyone in the chat have any problems running this game? I know that Team Man 2 is talking about how it's hard for his computer to run. Um, I have got a laptop running this game. In fact, my laptop is running all of this. The stream, the game, all of it is running currently right now off of my laptop. My desktop is actually more junky than my laptop is. And I have no problems with it, but I have 32 gigs of RAM on my laptop. Um, I don't know. I kind of like to look at the obsidian blocks. I really like that black block, but I think that would be more of like a not a large amount of it in the build, but more as an accent block. Maybe more on the inside than on the outside. I was hoping to look at some of the colored adobe because I don't mind using adobe, but when it comes to crafting recipes, I think I only have the blue adobe. I don't have any of the other recipes for that, which brings up an interesting thing. So there are certain recipes that you can only find in game. You can't unlock them without finding them in a chest. And so this is the blue adobe roof. This was found when we killed, I believe, the thing. And then in a chest, I found the yellow bed, both of which that I already have. And this is the Grand Architect chest that I was talking about earlier as well. So they've got some amazing designs. This is the lighting glitch. Yeah, so I have had an interesting uh, process for why I have that much RAM on my computer. When I first got this computer, I was making logos and graphic design for things. And so I would have all sorts of vector programs and all sorts of imaging programs open. Yeah, I was talking to someone earlier about putting together a an order dictionary, block dictionary. Um, I kind of like to have one set up, but I don't want it next to anyone's build. I kind of like to have it off to one side so that we could go and reference it regularly. So maybe build it underground and just change the blocks so they're not the naturally spawning blocks, and then put the block dictionary down there. But yeah, so I was thinking I was going to do some video editing. I was going to do lots of imaging editing and some audio editing because at the time I was interested in making some techno slash dubstep tracks and joys of misspent youth. And obviously there are much better people out there because none of you have heard of me before. um, it ended up that none of that worked out. And so now I am exploring programming for mobile design, and that doesn't need nearly the CPU power. So I ended up with a laptop with an amazing CPU and RAM, and I can run easily 30 or 40 programs on my computer without slowing it down. Yeah, that open mind might be the perfect place to build the block dictionary. That is a huge area that you have cleared out. Let me go take a look there. So yeah, in case you were curious, this is the same world that Black Nova 84 streams, and that is one of the reasons why he is being so generous as to hosting me on his channel. So if you're from Black Nova, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming and checking out the stream. Um, that being said, we have got a ton of people on the server. And so while Black Nova first started out, he wanted everyone to be able to come in and play. Um, we've quickly run out of space, and while the game is going to be a procedurally generated game and have unlimited size, I believe is the idea that they were going for, um, similar to other sandbox voxel games. Right now we're limited because we're early access. Okay, I went the wrong direction. So this is the mining area that RP Junkie was talking about. And this is the giant empty cavern that has been dug out from various TNT explosions and actual collection of materials. This down here could be a giant bat cave very easily. I mean, there's a lot of things. If you want to use this for the OR dictionary or the block dictionary, that is cool. Um, but if you wanted to build here, I would not. I would not be just surprised. There's a lot of potential in here, and that roof goes up forever. Yeah, mainly by you. You loved that TNT. When I first got on here, I was sitting there. I was trying to figure out how to get obsidian and coal. This is before I knew the trick about finding it on the surface area. And RP Junkie's like, oh, it's coming to my mind. I'll blast out some area for you. And it's easily, wow, I can't even tell you, octupled in size down here from whenever you came down here with me to help me find ores. But yeah, so this is one way of finding ores. You can use TNT and blow up the blocks. That being said, it only works to this level. Anything lower than this, the TNT really doesn't blow up the blocks. Black Nova, are you talking to me about coming to your base? Or are you talking to Team Man? Oh, it looks like you're talking to Team Man. Okay. Repeat that. You're fighting. I was saying that if you wanted to build down here, that would be cool. If you want to do the block or dictionary, that's awesome too. I would not be surprised if you wanted to build like a giant cavern build down here. This is amazing. You've increased this easily 8-fold from the last time I was down here. So you have an old i7 6 GB of RAM. Yeah, that's actually a decent build. The game really, I don't know, to me it doesn't seem like the game takes a lot of processing power, but I've had this laptop for close to 4 or 5 years now, and I don't notice any issues on it for my laptop. But I built at the time, this computer was above and beyond top tier computers. Is Black Nova laying down? Or is he just in the ground? Yeah, that would be funny, Boba Fett, to have like a, a giant missile silo. I wish you could figure out a way of doing some sound effects so that somebody comes in, suddenly there's an alarm system that says self-destruct in 10 seconds or something. That'd be funny. Hello, RP. I see you there. If we were going to do an ore dictionary, we're going to definitely have to flatten this out. I believe I saw you say that. Yeah, I actually just collected a chest. It had some bombs on it, and now my inventory is completely full. But I can come on in between streams and help with leveling it out. Black Nova, I kind of wish that you would have fallen for the queen bee troll that I did to you on your stream. I figured by the time that you got to that, it was going to be so late that in your 24-hour stream that you did for New Year's, that you would have teleported to your touchstone, but you went and walked to it. RP Junkie, I'm just going to kind of empty out my inventory a little. One thing that I like about this game over some of the other voxel sandbox games that I've played is you do have a set inventory space, but it's huge for your character's inventory. The interesting side effect to that is chests seem a lot smaller than other voxel games. So you do need to build quite a few chests. This is my wall of chests to manage your inventory. But I kind of like the idea of inventory management as a gameplay mechanic. Let's see, do I have any lights? Simply because I feel like it adds a level to the game. So my computer definitely has more processing power than I do as I suddenly get very quiet on the stream. I apologize for that. My brain does not think very often. I don't have to. Boom. So Modern Hippie, a way to make a room that others can't access. That's an interesting question. You can make a room that can't be seen. easily by other people. And if you have no griefing rules, you could just put all sorts of crafted blocks around the outside so they know not to go in there. Um, it really, there's no way to block off an area though. Yeah, you can make the touchstone private, and then it won't show up in the teleport. Like when you hit T, if it's private, it won't show up on this list. Another good way of making it is just make sure that you're in a server with people that respect the no griefing policies that you come up with. Um, I've actually been very fortunate. This is a great server with some great people on it, and I have no problems with people coming into my base whatsoever. So that's all my extra diamond gear that I've gotten from down in the corruption zone. Yeah, see, that's as you make friends in the Creativerse forums and on streams like this, um, you can find people that you can work with that will respect that. Like we have a no griefing policy on our server here that we we do not grief each other. So whenever I was saying that I trolled Black Nova last night, he was already looking for what am I looking for? Okay. He was already looking for queen bees, and he had said that he was collecting them for his stream. And so I went to his touchstone. I blocked in his touchstone with queen bees. So it was an item that he was actually looking for at the time, and so it made it kind of a fun thing, as opposed to filling his base with one block and making him waste his power cell collecting it all. Okay, what happened? Did T-Man accidentally explode something he wasn't supposed to? Okay, yeah. So, T-Man, if you're listening to the stream, don't use any more TNT in that area. That mine is depleted. Not really, but we're going to be turning that into a build. So from here on out, no more explosions, no more making that bigger. That being said, if you need to mine, you can find a lot of surface stuff over my base. If you watched the stream, I showed you. Well, I've showed you before where you can find that. You don't need the bombs to do that. Oh yeah, so I have the library, and then the most disconcerting feeling in the world is jumping through that teleporter. It's an instant teleport, so you jump up and end up on the second floor. The stained glass is actually a cash shop item. The cash shop is no longer functioning. However, we have quite a few people on our server that had already purchased it with their mojo, and I had one of them make it for me. In fact, I had Nova make it for me. It's a beautiful block, and definitely something that I wouldn't mind having in a cash shop, because it's not a necessity. But this just kind of shows it off. But this is my library, including some lighting glitches. I've got tons of excess gas lamps up here trying to get rid of some of the lighting glitches. But yeah, I really liked the library. I thought it turned out really nicely. uh, things you wish you could have a GIF for. TNT a night leafy into the air. But yeah, Bellaflora, if you were watching, or no, sorry, Fubafet, if you were watching earlier and I was down in the corruption, um, you saw super extractors. Those were an item that were also in the calf shop. Not totally sure. Here they are right here, super extractor. They don't look the same as a regular extractor currently. That's because these are an old image that this was the old style of extractors that people had. The super extractors were a cash shop item, and they do 3 times the base extractors return at a third of the time. So the advanced extractor is twice as much at half the time. I believe that's the math for that. 3D Loki probably knows better specifics about that. But that's what I've kind of noticed. Oh, so that's an interesting thing. I did not realize that. If you use multiple next to each other, do you have to detonate both of them? Or just detonate one and the other one explodes as well? I apologize for having to do the inventory maintenance, but man, if I'm going to do it, I'd like to get it all done. 3 tier 3 TNT. Ouch. Yeah, 3D Oki. I was talking about the different extractors and how they were different. So the base extractor and then the advanced extractor is twice the output at half the time, and the super is 3 times the base at a third of the time. Yeah, the only way to get a hold of those is to have someone that's purchased it from the cash shop, though. So, we have several people on our server that have that recipe, and I exchange things for them. So, like arc stones, Loki is very bad luck finding arc stones, and so I purchased them from him for what I now have 22 of them. Well, the stream is actually almost over. I appreciate everyone coming out and showing your support. Thanks for the follows for those of you who joined up today. This is going to be an every Friday night type of a thing. Once again, thank you, Black Nova, for hosting my my stream on your channel. And thank you, 3D Loki, for coming out and giving away a key. I appreciate that. Thank you for the support. Well, Phobafet, like I said, next Friday from 10 to midnight Central Standard Time. So if you look at the world time, that's at a -6 value. Please come out and support us. Support me. Support Black Nova. There's quite a few streamers on this server. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day.